Hey, so you're interested in our white labeled web design offering? Well, you're in the right place, and I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to talk you through our process. I'm going to talk you through our Google guarantee. I'm going to show you some of the work we do, and I'm going to tell you why you can work with us in this process. So we have two offerings. Number one, it could just be totally outsourced. So you tell the customer, we actually outsource this with one of our companies that we work with, and you can work with Square Balloon, and we can work that way. Or the second way is totally white labeled. So we act as if we are your company. You can give us an email address if you want. You can give us a phone number if you want. Whatever way you want to do it, we will work to. We will never ever talk to your customers about pricing. We'll only ever talk to you about it, and you can talk to your customer about pricing. It's very deliberate, so you can put money on top if you want to. We don't need to know how much you're putting on top. That's not our concern. You make as much as you want. Um, Also, we can help you to project manage it. We can be involved on the sales call as well if needed. There are lots of things we can do to be involved and to help support your business. And we'll give you a preferential rate so that you're not paying the top rate that you would if you were coming to us as a one-off customer. So let me show you some stuff. Let's start with our process. This is it's very well defined. We have a great project management team, but basically, before we build anything, if there's an existing site, we'll look at the SEO and we'll try and preserve it. We don't want to go off and build a brand new website which looks amazing and tanks them on Google. That would be bad. So we won't do that. But once we start building, basically got a five-step process. We've got the wireframes, we write the content, we design the site, we code the site, and then testing and release. And the reason I explain this to you, and the same reason I explain it to the customers, is because people understand process. They do not understand me telling them about the coding that we do, and they don't care, and they don't need to know coding. But they do need to know that when we do the wireframes, that is us deciding which pages are included in the build and what is included on each page. And of course, that helps us to quote and to also stop change requests and scope creep. We don't want to build 5 pages and bill for that, and then suddenly there's 10 pages which we haven't billed for. So that helps us. The writing the content part, if you need us to write it, we can do. There are obviously outsourced people we can use to write it as well. You may decide that you want to write this yourself. The main reason this is in position number 2 is because customers used to tell us they'll save some money by writing the content themselves. They would never write the content ever, never. So we write the content for them. I highly advise that that is something that's non-negotiable, or the projects will just completely overrun. The next one is designing the site. If we are doing a template build, we don't really need to design the site, so this cost can be reduced slightly. But if we're doing a totally bespoke design, of course there is a cost per page for this. Then of course coding the site. As I said before, we have a Google guarantee, so the coding will meet Google standards, and there's testing and release. You will test it, we will test it, and of course the customer will test it. So there needs to be upfront some acceptance process where they say, how will we know that we've built the site you want? It will have these 10 pages and they will build and they'll have this content, and then we can release it. We cannot have a situation where the customer can decide we're just not happy, so we don't want to pay. We have to manage this very tightly. Um, and here's our Google guarantee. So basically our Google guarantee says that we will use Google Lighthouse, a tool by Google, not by us, to measure the website and see how good our work is. They would judge speed, they would judge accessibility, which is whether people with screen readers can use it and things like that, best practices in terms of coding, and SEO, search engine optimization. And we guarantee we'll get over 85% on these scores, although we often get closer to 100% or the high 90s. If we don't, we're prepared to give you £500 cash back in your back pocket, but let me tell you, we've never had a problem so far, and we don't intend to have one in the future. So you want to see our work. This is a template-based design. So as I told you, the design team is not involved. We will get a template and we will knock this out quickly, and it will be cheaper. For this to work smoothly, the customer needs to know what they want. We cannot keep changing template and do effectively build 10 websites. So I'll show you what it looks like. It's nice and simple. I believe it's spread out nicely, good white space around things. I think the pictures we've chosen are nice, and I think it fits in with the brand. I think the colors work well, and these all were actually picked by us, not by the client, although this was a rebuild, so green was a theme that they had from the beginning. I'll just show you the homepage quickly as well. So again, this image was supplied by the client, and yeah, we've used a couple of icons. We've got a picture supplied by the client of the client. We picked this purple color, which wasn't there before, but I think it works really well. The form fits in nicely. It looks like it's part of the site and not just slapped on as an addition. We might find some web designers just install a form and leave the styling as it is. We don't want to do that. We want the form to look like it's part of the website. So there you have it. So next offering is totally bespoke design. So our design team designs things. So I'll show you that. We've got a design tool called Figma. And in this tool, we can move things around quite quickly and easily. And it allows our design team to really make something without having to know coding. This is an example. Apologies for the weird lettering here. It doesn't look like that in the live site. I don't know, this must be an old design. But to tell you why this design came about, they're a promotional merchandise company. They will put branding on anything, pens, mugs, all the stuff you've seen before, as well as some much more creative things than that. They did not want to be compared to the other guys who were just selling pens at the cheapest price possible. They wanted to be able to be seen as guys who were consultative, who were creative, and could come up with solutions for you that no one else was thinking of. So that's why this had to be a super creative website. On the live website, they actually wanted it to have a different homepage every single month, which was something we created. And all of the items had to be creative, so we went a lot with some abstract things. So even if we did talk about pens, it was an abstract way of showing pens rather than just showing a load of pens which everyone else was showing. So if you check out our website is live, you'll see a different homepage most likely than you're seeing here. Next thing I'll show you is just a realtor, real estate website. Again, we built the branding for it, so if you need help with branding, we can offer that. We came up with the fonts and the colors, and they're a Keller Williams franchise, but they wanted their own bespoke website. This is an IT company, and this is actually what the guy looks like. So our design team came up with somebody who looks, just like the guy. Which is great because then they go on the website and then they meet him. They go, "Oh, you are the guy from the website." Because of that, we came up with some iconography to go through the website and keep the styles consistent. But just to show you that even though this was a IT website, here's another one that we made. And again, this was totally different. So we don't really like to build two websites the same because I just don't feel that's very ethical. However, as you'll see, it's quite a serious website. The icons are less cartoony and playful, the more serious. This is the logo, which is not something we designed, but it's been integrated into design. But the client saw the other IT site, and they said, we want some cartoons of ourselves as well. So they made these and sent them to us. I preferred it with the serious pictures because it fitted in with the design better. But hey, client's always right, so this is what we ended up with. This is a live site now that I'm showing you, not in Figma, so this is what it gets converted into. And as you can see, we built this brand, and ultimately it led to us using this sort of shape as part of the site. And as if you scroll down, you'll see like these colors are all integrated, obviously. And then again, you see the shape of the logo's got a picture in it. Same here, it's been flipped, but it's the same shape. And here again, flipped a different way. And it all goes back to this logo that we created. Big bit of the logo in the background. We had a photography shoot with a guy holding up pictures of the logo. And you'll actually see if we go to a different page, scroll down to the bottom. How's my luck? Yeah, a different person holding the logo now. So on every page, there was like we rotated the staff members. So you might see the same one on some pages, but on every page we tried to rotate it to someone else. Although on some pages, staff members did appear in these little icons as well. Now, a surveyor website. Surveyors are legal guys. They are not creative guys. They're often kind of boring. This guy was not. He really wanted to be the best in his industry. A third party came up with this logo, and we made the website fit to that branding. So we don't always have to do the logos and branding ourselves. We can work with other companies to do it. It's got lots of videos in this website, so we came up with this design to help them out, and I think it looks great. One of the key things for me was getting the load speeds correctly. So actually, the videography company that created these videos, we went away and we advised them on how to make the videos a much smaller file size. And then they came back, and instead of being 20 gigabytes, they're more like 3 now, which has massively affected the load times, but has not affected the quality of the videos, which is also very important to the client. Moving on to an e-commerce site. This is a shop site, so they were selling vegan sweets, so that's kind of the vegan sweets layout. I don't love these pictures, I don't think they fit in very well, but the client supplied them to save money. We actually came up with the logo and the branding, so hopefully you see that this works kind of throughout the site. So there's a slider at the top with some animation. Again, they supplied the images, but we've cut them out here, so I think they look okay. As we go down, some more iconography, a globe, because it's very important to the vegans. This wavy thing just fits in with the sort of the sea, the globe, as well as these blobby parts, which were just designed to fit in. You'll think that the packaging is quite plain. That was deliberate by them. They didn't want to use lots of packaging or ink or anything bad for the planet. But it's a cool project to have worked on, and it's great to be able to show an e-commerce site. They have these subscription boxes, so you could choose whether to subscribe or whether to, in some cases, you could buy some of the products one-off. Now to show you a bespoke software. So this is a website, but it's a different website to normal. These guys make coach bookings. If you want to go from A to B on a coach, these guys will allow you to book one. What you do is you put in your details here. I'll just show you it. So you type in your address. It's linked with Google Maps. So I'll say I'm going to the airport. I'll tell it what date, tell it how many passengers, and I'll tell them pick-up times or whatever. And when I submit it, it goes through. And you can see it again, another integration with Google Maps to show the distance. We've got the distance in miles written here, and they fill in a bit of the rest. There's a few steps to the process which I won't show you, but ultimately it feeds into this admin dashboard which they have access to and nobody else does. So in this website, there is the front end of the website which takes the quote information. There's a login for the customer, there's a login for the admin, and there's a login for the coach drivers. When the quote comes in, all the coach drivers will come, make a bid on the quotes as how much they want to pay, and then the user will decide which quote they want to go with, whether it's the cheapest or whether they decide to go with somebody who's got toilets or a luxury bus or something like that. Entirely up to the user, but this system collects all the quotes. So it's a totally bespoke system that we've made. So I hope it shows you enough diversity in our portfolio, all the different things that we can do, and we would love to work with you guys. We can offer you a lower rate on our hourly rate. We can offer you access to our design team, our project management team, and most of all, we can offer you our 16 years of advice and knowledge, so we can jump on calls with you and establish where's going to be a bottleneck, where's going to be a problem, where there's going to be a really big cost implication, and where needed, we can advise clients how to avoid the cost implication if they don't have the budget, or how to reduce the scope of work, or if there's a way around it which will be cheaper, we can advise them that as well, because we've had so much experience. Sometimes there is stuff that already exists that they don't know about, which would either make it cheaper or just make it better. Perhaps they haven't even thought of this idea, which we say, hey, this will add so much value to your customers if you add this to your website. So yeah, lots of things we can do to help with SEO, conversion rates, and all of those other wonderful things. I really hope that we get to work with you, because we would love to provide our excellent team to other agencies so that we can provide the great service we do.